Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you for your association. We will get started with our Mangalacharan prayers and then we'll go. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी नमां विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातं हम वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. Thank you once again for your very, very kind association. So we'll get started with our Bhakti Vaibhav session. Just give me a minute. Okay, so we are in the 11th chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we saw in the first chapter, in the 11th chapter, the first chapter of the second module, that how Krishna finally came to Dwarka. And Sutta Goswami is explaining that how Krishna enters into Dwarka. So he blew his conch, everybody was notified, and all of them, they came at the door of that Dwarka to welcome Lord Shri Krishna. All the citizens, they very, very affectionately welcomed the Supreme Lord. They offered lot of gifts. And Sutta Goswami explains offering gifts to Krishna is the same as offering Ganga back to Ganga, offering Ganga water back to Mother Ganga. Finally, they expressed their feelings that how they were so much in separation mood with Lord Shri Krishna, and they were feeling as if they are not able to live their life properly. And they glorified Krishna that your darshan is so rare, and we are so fortunate that we got this opportunity that you came back and we got your darshan. After describing this, it has been explained by Sutta Goswami that Krishna felt very happy, very pleased, And he glanced at everyone just to give them happiness and also the acknowledgement that, yes, I know that you all are here. Finally, Sutta Goswami explains the city of Dwarka, how the city of Dwarka was so well decorated. All the major roads were cleaned. Every house, there were some auspicious items like banana leaves and articles for worship, incense, lamps. And there were very, very beautiful festive signs also that were there just at the gate so that Krishna can be welcomed properly. Finally, all the other Yadavas, the Vrishnis, the Vasudev, Akrura, Ugrasen Maharaj, everybody, and Krishna's son, Balaram, Pradyumna, Charudeshna, Samba, and everybody, they came and they welcomed the Supreme Lord. Not only them, all the artists, all the dancers, all the historians, everybody came to welcome the Supreme Lord. After all, the Lord has entered the city, and they don't want that Krishna should feel that nobody is there. Therefore, everybody, the Supreme, welcomed, came to the door of Dwarka to welcome the Supreme Lord. After describing this entire welcome ceremony, now Sutta Goswami doesn't want to leave without glorifying the beauty of Lord Sri Krishna. So we are in that section, which is a very, very beautiful section. And now Sutta Goswami will be describing the beauty of Lord Sri Krishna. So today we are supposed to start from text number 26, but in continuation, I will just repeat the translation of 25th, and then we'll go ahead. So Sutta Goswami is saying, the inhabitants of Dwarka were regularly accustomed to look upon the reservoir of all beauty. Who is the reservoir of all beauty? The Supreme Lord. He is the reservoir of all beauty, the infallible Lord. Yet they were never satiated. So the relationship with the Lord is not the relationship that we have with the ordinary jivas, because with ordinary jivas, we can meet once, twice, but then we feel bored if it is not for our welfare. If we feel bored in somebody's company, we don't feel like welcoming them, right? Or if we feel very uncomfortable in somebody's company, we don't feel like staying in that company. And even if you imagine if somebody comes to your home and you like them, means you love their company, and they come and stay 1 day, 2 day, week, month, after that, it's not tolerable. Like we feel that enough, we want some privacy. But that was not the case with the citizens of Dwarka, because that relationship was not the relationship of mere mortal souls. That relationship was with the Supreme Lord. And therefore, it's been described. Now, with Tripyanti Drisha, seeing the Lord, they were never satisfied. They want to see more and more the beauty of the Supreme Lord. So that was the mood of all the Dwarkavasis. And now from 26th onwards, Sutta Goswami will be explaining about the beauty of the Supreme Lord. Shriyo nivaso yashasu yasyayora panapatram mukham drisham bahavalokapalanam saranganam padambujam. So now, Sutta Goswami is saying, Shriya Nivaso Yasyayoraha. So Shriya means Mother Lakshmi, Shri Devi. That is our Mother Lakshmi. So Shri Nivasa, the resting place, the residential place, the Nivas of Goddess of Fortune is Yasyayoraha. Uraha means the chest. The chest of the Supreme Lord is the resting place, is the residential place of Goddess of Fortune. Pana patram mukham drisham. Drisham means eyes. For the eyes, pana patram. Pana patram means the patra or the vessel from which you drink water. right? So it's Panapatram, the drinking vessel. So for the eyes, the drinking vessel was Krishna's mukham, was Krishna's face, because they are never satiated by seeing the Supreme Lord. So then say Bahava Lokapalana. Bahava Lokapalana means his Bahava. Bahava means his arms. His arms were the resting place. Nivaso is again used for the third sentence. Bahava Lokapalanam, for the Lokapalas, for the demigods, for the administrative demigods, as Prabhupada translates. The resting place, the residential place of all the Lokapalanam, of all the demigods, was Krishna's arms. Why is it so? Because they feel secure. They know, demigods know that whenever they are in trouble, they have to approach the Supreme Lord, and Supreme Lord is the one who always helped them from other demoniac people. So his arms are always the resting place of Lokapalanam, of all the demigods. Saranganam Padambujam. Sarangana means the devotees who are singing Krishna's glories. For them, Krishna's lotus feet is the resting place. Padambujam. Ambuja means the lotus and Pada means the feet. So Krishna's lotus feet becomes the resting place, the nivasa, the residential place for all the devotees. What kind of devotees? Sarangananam. Saranga is actually, see, there is a difference between the word Sharanga and Saranga. Sharanga is Krishna's bow. Okay. But here it says Saranganam Padambujam. So Saranga refers to Krishna. Saran refers to Krishna, is the essence of everything, is Samam Bonam. And those who sing about Krishna's glories, they are known as Saranga. So Saranganam is the devotees who sing Krishna's glories. For them, Krishna's lotus feet is the residential place. Okay. So these things are mentioned. Once again, we'll go through. The residential place for goddess of fortune is Krishna's Uraha, is Krishna's chest. Yasya Uraha, right? Yasya Uraha. Uraha means the chest. Panapatra Mukham Drisham, for the eyes, Panapatra, the drinking vessel, is Krishna's face. For Krishna's arms, Bahavo, are the resting place for the Lokapalanam, for all the demigods. And for the devotees who sing Krishna's glory, Saranganam, their resting place is Krishna's lotus feet. Somebody can read the translation.
Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
The Lord's chest is the abode of goddess of fortune. His moon-like face is drinking vessel for eyes which hanker after all that is beautiful. His arms are the resting places for the administrative demigods, and his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any subject except his lordships. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. So, his lotus feet are the refuge of pure devotees who never talk or sing of any mundane subject matter except his lordship. So Saranga can mean those who sing the glories of the Supreme Lord. So they are Saranga. Now, Prabhupada, it's a very, very beautiful purport. We'll spend some time. There are different classes of human beings, all seeking different enjoyments from different objects. There are people who are seeking after the goddess of fortune. For them, the Vedic literature gave information that the Lord is served with all reverence by thousands and thousands of goddess of fortune. That is in his Chintamani Dham, the transcendental abode where there are trees, they are kalpavrikshas, trees for all desire trees, not ordinary trees, they are kalpavrikshas. And the buildings are made up of touchstone, Chintamani. The Lord is engaged herding Surabhi cows as his natural occupation. And these goddesses of fortune, not one, but Sahasra goddess of fortune, millions, can be seen automatically if we are attracted by the bodily features of the Lord. So now somebody can raise their hand and tell me which verse is this of Brahma Samhita. Very famous verse. Brahma saw all this, right? In his Chintamani Dham, he's been served by all the, yes, Praladananda Prabhu.
Surbhi Palayantam Lakshmi Sahasrasa Sambram Sevyamanam Govindam Adipurusham Tamam.
Thank you, Prabhu. So it's a very beautiful verse that how Brahma saw this vision that how he's been heard by Surabhi cows, there are Kalpavriksha trees, Sahasra Lakshmis are worshipping. Now here then Prabhupada says, and those who are artists overtaken by the beautiful creation should better see to the beautiful face of the Lord for the complete satisfaction. So nobody can be so beautiful than that of the Supreme Lord. You know this beautiful pastime of how there was Dhanurdhar, right? He was very captivated by the beautiful eyes of his wife. And then Sri Ramanujacharya took him and he said, oh, you are so much captivated by the eyes of your wife. I'll show you the eyes of Srirangam, right? He took him to Srirangam to show him the eyes of the Supreme Lord. And as soon as he saw, he was totally captivated by looking the eyes of the Supreme Lord. And from that day, he became a devotee, Dhanurdas, right? So the face of the Lord is the embodiment of beauty. Why? Because it wears smita, a beautiful smile. What they call beautiful nature is but his smile. And what they call the sweet songs of the birds are simply the whispering voice of the Lord. So Prabhupada is also being very, very poetic. Then he says that there are administrative demigods, Lokapalana, who are in charge of departmental service of cosmic manifestation management. And there are tiny administrative gods in the state service. So they are always afraid of their competitors. So in this world, when we see the so-called administrative gods, they are afraid of their competitors. But if they take shelter of the arms of the Lord can protect them from the attacks of enemies. A faithful servant of the Lord engaged in the service of administration is the ideal executive head and can well protect the interest of the people in general. These are the demigods, those who are always for the benefit of the people. They always protect the welfare, the interest of the people in general. But the so-called administrator of this world, they are simple of anachronisms, leading to the acute distress of the people who are governed by them. So the people of this world, the so-called administrators of this world, they themselves are not the real protectors. Okay. So what they do, instead of protecting them, they lead to the acute distress of the people who are governed by them. Why? Because they are always worried about their pocket. The administrators can remain safely under the protection of the arms of the Lord. The essence of everything is the Supreme Lord. Therefore, he is known as Saram. And those who sing and talk about him are known as Sarangas, or his pure devotees, because they have no other business except to glorify the Supreme Lord. The pure devotees are always hankering after the lotus feet of the Lord. Therefore, Krishna's Padambujam, Krishna's lotus feet, are the resting place for these Sarangas. Now here, the lotus, why it is lotus? It's a very beautiful that Prabhupada is now mentioning from here onwards. The lotus has a kind of honey. We know there is a nectar in the whirl of the lotus, which is very transcendently relished by the devotees. They are like the bees who are always after that honey that is present in the lotus world. And here, what is this lotus? This lotus is Krishna's lotus feet. That is compared to a lotus flower. That is emitting all the nectar that the devotees want to relish. And therefore, Krishna's lotus feet becomes the resting place, the residential place for all these pure devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami, the great devotee Acharya of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, has sung a song about this lotus honey, comparing himself to a bee. So what is this song? We will share the screen. I'll share the screen and then we'll come back to this purport. It's a very beautiful song, and we'll just look this song and then we will go ahead. I'm sorry, I should have opened it. I hope you are able to see the screen. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Manasa Madhukaram Harpaya Nijapada Pankajamakarande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. So what Rupa Goswami is saying? That, oh Lord, you are Krishna Deva Bhavantam. Bhavantam is again yourself. So addressing the Lord with some honorific or some, with honor, you say Bhavantam. Oh, I bow down to you. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Man Manasa Madhukara Marpaya. I want to offer. What I want to offer? My mind, which is like a Madhukaram. Because the Madhukaram is like a bee, is a bee actually, the bee that is always on the lotus flower to suck the honey. So he's saying, let my mind be that bee and should always be placed at your lotus feet. Nijapada Pankaja Makarande, because your feet are like Pankaja, like lotus feet. And there is always a nectar, honey that is emanating from that lotus feet. So, oh Krishna, I want my mind, please, I beg you, I pray to you that let the bee of my mind be into the honey of your lotus feet. That's how he's praying. So then he says, Yadyapi samadhishu vidhirapi pashyati natavana khagramaricim. Idamichhami nishamaya tavachyuta tadapi kripabhuta vechim Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. So now he's saying Yadyapi Samadhishu. Yadyapi Samadhishu Vidhir. Vidhir refers to Brahma. So though he is always in meditation, Api Pashyati Nan, still he is not able to see. What he is not able to see? Tava Nakhagra Marichim. So Marichim here refers to very, very, you can say the tip of Nakhagra, your toenail, the tip of your toenail also, that Brahma, who is always in meditation, is not able to see, is not able, Pashyati na tava nakhagra marichim. He is not able to see even the tip of your lotus nail. But idamichhami nishamaya. But I have heard this, that O Achyuta, O Supreme Lord, Tadapi Kripa Adbhuta Vichim. I have heard that your Kripa is very, very wondrous, very, very amazing. It's Adbhuta. Your Kripa is very, very Adbhuta, and therefore your Kripa is like a wave. So I have heard this, I know this, Rupa Goswami is saying. Therefore, I developed this desire that let my mind be always at your lotus feet, sucking nectar from your lotus feet. This is what I desire. So here, Prabhupada, in KK song, the translation says, although Brahma in full samadhi cannot catch a glimpse of even the ray of the effulgence of the tips of your toenails, still, O Achyuta, having heard of the waves of your astonishing mercy, I long to receive your grace. And then Krishna can say, okay, what qualification you have, Rupa Goswami? So Rupa Goswami says, Bhakti rudanchati yadyapi madhava na tvai mama tilamatri Parmeshwarata tadapi tavadhika durghata ghatana dhatri Krishna Deva bhavantam vande. So he's saying, O Madhav, O Rupa Goswami, Bhakti rudanchati, that bhakti that sprouts, that grows. I do not have that bhakti. My bhakti lata beach has not even sprouted. Na tvai mama tilamatri. Even the as compared to the sesame seed, my bhakti has not even sprouted that much also. But so if you see a qualification, you'll not find any qualification. But I know that you are Parmeshwarata, means Ishwarta. Parmeshwarata means you have the potency. You are a Parmeshwar. You are the Supreme Lord. And you have this potency, Tavadhika, it is there under your adhikar, Durghata Ghatana Vidhatri. That you can, Durghata means something which is very impossible to be done. But Durghata Ghatana, but you can make that impossible also possible with Hatri, because you are the ordainer. You ordain everything, you orchestrate everything. So therefore, I am asking you, I'm begging you that you have everything under your control. You can make impossible into possible. Though I don't have any bhakti, my bhakti has not even sprouted even with a measure of a sesame seed, but still I know that you are Ishwar, you are the Supreme Lord. So you can make everything which is impossible into possible because you orchestrate everything. Therefore, I ask you to please bless me so that I can always be at your lotus feet. O Madhava, although I don't possess even a sesame seed of bhakti for you, still by your inconceivable power, which makes the impossible possible, please fulfill the desire of my heart. And what is the desire? That let the bee of my mind be always at your lotus feet. Ayam avilotaya dhyasanatana kalilataadbhutarasabharam Nivasatu nityamihamrita nindini vindana madhuri masaram Krishna Deva bhavantam vande. So he's saying, I am here refers to this bee of my mind. Avilotaya, it wants to be always in fixed steadiness. I want that let the bee of my mind be in fixed steadiness. So from now onwards, Sanatana, so he is referring to the Supreme Lord as eternal. But that's the beauty of Srila Rupa Goswami, that in every song that he composed, he always write the word Sanatana, also giving respect to his elder brother, Sanatan Goswami. But he is saying that, O eternal Lord, O Sanatana, let my mind be always fixed in fixed steadiness at the lotus feet. Kalita Adbhuta Rasabharam. And it should be filled with the weight, Kalita and Rasabharam. It should be filled with the divine rasa, that divine flavor that is emanating from the lotus feet of yours. And Nevasatu Nityam, and may my mind always, Nityam, eternally dwell here at your lotus feet. Why? Because your lotus feet is emanating that Amrita, which is Amrita Nindini Vindan, because that Amrita is putting shame, the nectar that is coming out from your lotus feet is putting shame to the nectar of all the three worlds. So that nectar seems insignificant when it compares to see the nectar or to taste the nectar of your lotus feet. Why Madhurima Saram? Because your lotus feet carries the essence of sweetness of all the nectars of this world. So Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande Manmanasa Madhukara Marupaya Nijupada Pankaja Makarande. So it's a very beautiful verse, and this entire verse has been quoted by Srila Prabhupada. Somebody can read the translation now from Prabhupada's purport. Srila Rupa Goswami from here onwards. Yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. O my Lord Krishna, I beg to offer my prayers unto you. My mind is like the bee, and it is after some honey. Kindly therefore give my bee mind a place at your lotus feet, which are the resources for all transcendental honey. I know that even big demigods like Brahma do not see the rays of the nails of your lotus feet, even though they are engaged in deep meditation for years together. Still, O infallible one, my ambition is such, for you are very merciful to your surrendered devotees. O Madhava, I know also that I have no genuine devotion for the service of your lotus feet, but because your lordship is inconceivably powerful, you can do what is impossible to be done. Your lotus feet can deride even the nectar of the heavenly kingdom, and therefore I am very much attracted by them. O Supreme Eternal, please therefore let my mind be fixed at your lotus feet, so that eternally I may be able to relish the taste of your transcendental service. Thank you so much for this beautiful bhajan, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Indu Mataji. So this is the beauty that how Prabhupada has basically written the entire translation of the song in his purport. And this is how Sutta Goswami is saying, Saranganam Pradam Bhujam, that they always want to stay at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, like a bee, having a bee-like mind. So the devotees are satisfied with being placed at the lotus feet of the Lord with no ambition to see his all beautiful face, to aspire for the protection of the strong arms. They are humble by nature, and Lord is always leading towards their humble devotees. That's the beauty that Sutta Goswami describes. Continuing, text 27. सीताप्तरा व्यजनेर उपाक्षितः प्रसूनवर्षेरभिवर्षितापति विषङ्गवासा वनमाल्य बभौ घणो यथा कोदुपचापविद्युते. Again now, Sutta Goswami is continuing the beauty of the Supreme Lord. So he's saying Sita Patra. So this word we have seen, Sita Patra, means the white umbrella. So we have seen in the previous chapter also, when Krishna was leaving Dwarka, at that time Arjun was holding this white umbrella, and somebody was Vyajanai, means the charmer fan. So Uddhava was fanning the Supreme Lord. So he was being served, Pashkrita. So now also when he entered Dwarka, it is being mentioned by Sutta Goswami that the white umbrella was there on the top of the head of the Supreme Lord, and he was served by the Chamara fan. Prashuna Varshed, and Prashuna means immense, the flowers. Immense flowers were following. They were showers of flowers. And as soon as there were showers of flowers, so Abhivarshita Patihi. Abhivarshita means that because of the showers of the flowers, the entire path, Pathi, the entire path was covered by the flowers, as if somebody has laid the bed of the flowers. Pishangavasa, and Krishna was wearing, Vasha means the clothes he was wearing. That clothes were yellow garments. He was wearing yellow garments. And Vanamala Babhu, and Vanamalya, and he was also wearing the flower garland, the forest flower garland. Vanamala he was wearing. So what all we saw? We saw the white umbrella on the top of the head of the Supreme Lord, the Chavara fan. He was being served by that fan. There were shower of flowers because of which the entire path was covered. He was wearing yellow garments and he was wearing forest flower garland. Babhau ghano yatha, Arka Dupa Chapa Vaidyuta. So now Sutta Goswami is also being very poetic, and he's saying all these things. Seeing Krishna with a white umbrella, with served with the chamara fan, with the shower of flowers, with the yellow garments, with the forest flower garland that he was wearing. Everything looks like Babau. It was looking like what? It was looking like what? Ghano. It was looking like the dark monsoon cloud. Because Krishna is Ghansham. So he was looking like a dark cloud which was surrounded by Arka, by sun, by Udapa, like moon, Chapa, like a rainbow, and Vaidyuta, like lightning. So Krishna was dark. He was in a dark complexion. So he was looking like a cloud which was surrounded by Ghano Yatha Arkadupa Chapa Vaidyuta, as if he was surrounded, as if the dark cloud was surrounded by sun, moon, rainbow, and lightning. Now imagine where you can see all these four things together in this material world. It's impossible. If you see sun, you don't see moon. If you see rainbow, you don't see lightning, because the sun and the water should be there. There should be no lightning. But this is what is being explained, that how Krishna makes impossible into possible. Because when Krishna was coming, it was looking as if he was covered by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbow. Somebody can read the translation.
As the Lord passed along the public road of Dwaraka, his head was protected from the sunshine by a white umbrella. White feathered fans moved in semicircles, and showers of flowers fell upon the road. His yellow garments and garlands of flowers made it appear as if a dark cloud were surrounded simultaneously by sun, moon, lightning, and rainbows. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. So Vaidyutam is lightning. So here comparison is made that Krishna was like a cloud. The umbrella was like a sun. The chamaras that he was being served, they were like Udapa, like the two moons. And the shower of flowers that were there were like stars. And the flower garland that Krishna was wearing were like a rainbow. And the yellowish cloth, the garments that he was wearing, was like lightning. So the sun, the two moons simultaneously shine on the cloud. And of course, the stars are there, rainbows are there, and lightning is also there. So this is how the Lord appeared. Prabhupada writes, the sun, moon, rainbow, and lightning do not appear in the sky simultaneously. When there is sun, the moonlight becomes insignificant. And if there are clouds and a rainbow, there is no manifestation of lightning. The Lord's bodily hue is just like a new monsoon cloud. He is compared herein to the cloud. The white umbrella was compared to a sun. The movement of the bunch here means the chamara fans were compared to the moon. The shower of flowers were compared to the stars. The yellow garments, actually, Prabhupada is writing, are compared to the rainbow, but Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he writes that yellow garments are compared to Vaidyutan, like a lightning. And then what is like a rainbow is actually the flower garland that he was wearing was like a rainbow because it has multicolor flowers. So all these activities of the firmament being impossible simultaneously factors cannot be adjusted by comparison. The adjustment is possible only when we think of the Achintya Shakti, the inconceivable potency of the Lord. The Lord is all powerful, and his presence, anything impossible can be made possible. And this is what we learn in the verse, the bhajan that we sang. Parameshwarata tad api tavadika durghata ghatana vidhatri. He is the one who can make impossible into possible, because of his Achintya Shakti. But the situation created at the time of his passing on the roads of Dwarka was so beautiful, and it cannot be compared to anything besides the description of the natural phenomena of the nature. That's why Sutta Goswami compared the beauty of the Lord with this nature. Text 28. So these are the three verses, 26, 27, and 28, that describes the beauty of the Supreme Lord. Now comes 25, 26, and 27, these three verses. Now comes the 28th verse. Pravishtastu granham petro parivasakta swamatrbhir bhavande shirasa sapta devaki pramukhamuda. Pravishtastu griham pitro. Now Krishna is entering the house of his father. Pravishta means he is entering the house, the grihanam of his father. Parivasakta sumatrabhi, and he was embraced by all his mothers. So Krishna was embraced by all his mothers. Why all his mothers? Because Vasudev has 18 wives. And all the wives of Krishna were like Krishna's mothers. But they say Devaki Pramukha. Among all them, actually, Pramukha, the main principal, the main mother of the Supreme Lord is Devaki. So, Vavande Shirasa Shapta. So now Krishna is offering his obeisances. And he is not offering the obeisances that these days the boys do. They just bend down up till the knees. They just put their hands up till the knees and they say, okay, namaskar or whatever, they want to pay obeisances. But here it's been explained, Vavande Shirasha. He is putting his head on the feet of all his mothers. Sapta here refers to 7. Now we will see why 7 mothers. Devaki Pramukha Muda, and he was headed by, means he bowed down first to Devaki, Mother Devaki, and then to all the 7 mothers. We will see why the word Sapta is being used as 7 here. Somebody can read the translation. Yes.
After entering the house of his father, he was embraced by the mothers present, and the Lord offered his obeisances unto them by placing his head at their feet. The mothers were headed by Devaki, his real mother. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Thank you, Tulsimata. So he was embraced by his mothers. Now here the word Sapta is referred as 7 mothers. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur actually mentions that Devaki, Mother Devaki, they were 7 sisters. Okay. And all of them were married to Vasudeva. All of them. Vasudeva actually had 18 wives. But out of those 18 wives, the 7 wives were Devaki and her sisters. So Krishna bowed down to every one of them. And he offered his respects to all the rest of the mothers because Vasudeva had 18 wives. This is one meaning. Another meaning Prabhupada is giving in the word Sapta in his translation, in his purport. Prabhupada is mentioning, it appears that Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, had completely separate residential quarters where he lived with his 18 wives, of whom Srimati Devaki is the real mother of Lord Sri Krishna. But in spite of this, all other stepmothers were equally affectionate to him. Lord Krishna also did not distinguish his real mother from his stepmothers, and he actually offered his obeisances unto the wives of Vasudeva present on that occasion. Now, Prabhupada is saying Sapta as the reference from the scriptures that how there are 7 mothers. The real mother, the wife of the spiritual master, the wife of a Brahmana, the wife of a king, cow, nurse, and earth. These are the 7 mothers which are referred in the scriptures. Thus, even by this injunction of the Shastras, the stepmother, who is the wife of the father, is also as good as a mother. Because the father is one of the spiritual master, and the wife of the spiritual master is also a mother. So Lord Krishna, the Lord of the universe, plays the part of an ideal son just to teach others how to treat their stepmothers. So therefore the word sapta is root. Vavande shirasa sapta devaki pramukha muda. So these are the points that were mentioned, that how Sapta Prabhupada is mentioning about how about the 7 mothers that are mentioned in the scriptures. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur mentions that 7 refers to the 7 sisters of Devaki who were all married to Vasudeva Maharaj. Text 29. So here it's Prabhupada is mentioning, right? That in spite of this, all other stepmothers were equally affectionate to him, as it will be evident from the following verse. So all of them were very, very affectionate to Krishna. Tah putramankamaropya sneha snuta payodhara harsha vihvalatmana shishir netra jarjali. So now this is what is being mentioned, that all the stepmothers were equally affectionate. Tah putram ankamaropya. All of them. Tah means all of them. All the 18 wives of Vasudeva. They were keeping Krishna, they were treating Krishna as Putram, as their son, and Ankam Aropya, and they placed him on their lap. And out of deep affection, Snehasnuta Payodhara, and out of deep affection towards Lord Krishna, their breasts were filled with the milk. So this is again very, very inconceivable, because with our conditioned minds, we cannot understand this. Because in today's world, in this material world, we see that how the mother feeds the child maybe for first two years, max 3 years, but after that the milk dries up. But see, imagine here, seeing Krishna coming back from Hastinapur, from Kurukshetra, all the mothers out of deep affection were embracing Krishna, and they were placing Krishna on their lap. And out of deep affection, their breasts were filled with the milk. The milk was pouring from their breasts. Harsha Vifalatmanam, and they were overwhelmed. They were very, very delightful. And Shishichur, and because of that, they were not able to control the tears. So Shishichur Netra Jai Jalai. So the Lord himself, his head, because his head was placed on the lap of their mothers, his head became wet because of the tears, Netra Jai Jalai, because of the water, the tears that was flowing from the eyes of all the mothers. So how beautifully Sutta Goswami is explaining. Somebody can read translation.
Mataji. The mothers, after embracing their son, sat him on their laps. Due to pure affection, milk sprang from their breasts. They were overwhelmed with delight, and the tears from their eyes wetted the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So when Lord Krishna was at Vrindavan, even the cows would become moistened by the affection towards him. And he would draw milk from the nipples of every affectionate living being. So what to speak of the mothers who were already as good as his mother. So even the cows, their udders will be filled with the milk, seeing Krishna. So what to talk about the mothers, the stepmothers who were already as good as his own mother. Text 30. Athavishat swabhavanam Sarvakamam anuttamam prasadayatra patninam saharshani cha shodasha. So now Krishna, after going to the chamber of his father, now he went. Thereafter, avishat, he entered. Where he entered? Swabhavanam, he entered his own personal palace. So how many palaces Krishna's had? That will be explained. He entered into all those palaces, his personal palaces. Now this shows that Krishna, as soon as he came out from the bhavan, from the palace of his father, he expanded himself. And at the same time, he entered into all those palaces. Those palaces, sarvakamam anuttamam, they were very, very perfect palaces. perfect to the fullest extent, as Prabhupada saying, and sarva kamam, and they were capable to fulfill all the desires. Those palaces were the great palaces. That's the opulence that has been quoted here. Prasada, he entered into those palaces. Yatra patninam, and he entered the palaces of whom? Of all his wives. And how many wives he had? Sahasrani cha shodasha. Shodasha means 16. Sahasra means 1,000. So that means 16,000. But cha. So the Goswami is saying cha. Cha refers to 16,000 and above. Because Krishna had 16,108 wives. So Krishna expanded himself into 16,108 in number, and he entered into the palaces of his 16,108 wives simultaneously. At the same time, every wife, every queen of Krishna was seeing Krishna as if Krishna has come to meet her personally. That's the reciprocation that Krishna showed towards his queens. Somebody can read translation.
Thereafter, the Lord entered his palaces, which were perfect to the fullest extent. His wives lived in them, and they numbered over 16,000.
Thank you, Mataji. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport, Lord Krishna had 16,108 wives, and each of them were fully equipped with a palace complete with necessary compounds and gardens. So they don't have one room, but they have the entire palace of them. Full description of these palaces we will see in our Bhakti Vedanta section when we will do the 10th canto. All the palaces were made of best marble stone. They were illuminated by jewels and decorated by curtains and carpets of velvet and silk, nicely bedecked and embroidered with gold lace. The personality of Godhead means who is full in all power. So definitely he is full in all opulences also. Therefore, in the palaces of the Lord, there was nothing wanting for fulfilling the desires of the Lord. Sarva kamam anuttamam. The Lord is unlimited, and therefore his desires are also unlimited, and the supply is also unlimited. The Lord is unlimited, his desires are unlimited, and supply is also unlimited. Everything being unlimited is concisely described here as sarva kamam, or full with the desirable equipment. That was the beauty of Krishna's 16,108 palaces that he made for his wives. Patnyapatim prosya grinanupaгаtam vilokya sanyatamano mahotsava utasthurarat sahasanasyat sakam riter vrididita lochanana. So now, as Krishna entered the palace, now imagine Krishna, after so many months, years, has come back to Dwarka. And all the wives were in the mood of separation. They were in the mood of separation from Krishna. They have not seen Krishna. And now they are in their palace and Krishna has entered. So Krishna has entered in that palace. Patnyaha Patim, the ladies of Lord Shri Krishna, Proshya Grinanupagatam, that Krishna who has gone far away, but now Grina Anupagatam, now he has come back to his own Griha. Vilokya, seeing the Supreme Lord. Sanyata Mano, they have developed, their mind have developed with the sense of Mahotsava, as if there is a great joyful ceremony or occasion has happened as soon as Krishna came. So their mind has developed a great sense of festivity. So Sanyata Mano Mahotsava, it's a great Mahotsav that was happening in their mind, seeing Krishna. Utasthur, immediately they got up. They got up from where? Arat. They got up from there. Arat means seeing Krishna from a distance. Krishna is at the distance, okay? They are seeing Krishna from a distance and immediately they got up. They got up from their seats, asana, sahasa. And it was all of a sudden, it was spontaneous. They have not decided, oh, now Krishna is entering, I have to get up, I have to dress up, I have to welcome. No, they were in their palace. And it says, the word here is used as asayat. Yeah, asayat. Asayat means they were in their great meditation. What kind of meditation? The meditation of separation, because they were feeling separated. They have that separation with the Lord. So they were in that meditation only. So as soon as they saw Krishna from a distance, immediately, all of a sudden, sahasa, so all of a sudden, they got up from their asanas. They got up from their seats and asayat. And also they got up from their meditation also because now their meditation was broken. Sakam vratir vridita lochana. And they saw, and along with their vow, vratir. So what vrata they had, we will see in the purport they have mentioned, Prabhupada has mentioned, that what kind of vrata the queen of Dwarakas were keeping. So along with their vrata, they now got up and vridita lochanana, and they were seeing the face of Krishna. Anana means the face. We were saying the face, lochana. From their eyes, they were seeing the face of Krishna, but how? Vridita. Vridita means very coldly, as Prabhupada is mentioning here. Very shyly, very bashfully, they were looking at the beauty of Krishna or looking at Krishna's face. So they got up from their vrata, they got up from their seat, and they got up from their meditation. Sahasa, all of a sudden, Udastur Arat, seeing Krishna from a distance. Somebody can read the translation.
The queens of Lord Sri Krishna rejoiced within their minds to see their husband home after a long period abroad. The queens got up at once from their seats and meditations. As was socially customary,
What happened? Something happened?
I couldn't see, Mataji, the...
Why it's chapter? Sorry. Sorry, Mataji.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
I think the next thing got clicked, the next chapter.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
The queens got up at once from their seats and meditations. As was socially customary, they covered their faces shyly and looked about coyly.
Thank you, Mataji. So now in the purport, Prabhupada is mentioning about their vrata. What kind of vrata these queens of Dwarka were keeping. So as mentioned above, the Lord entered his home palace occupied by 16,108 wives. So this is another manifestation of the feature, because he entered into each and every palace simultaneously and separately. So Lord can expand himself into many forms, even though he is one without a second. It is confirmed in the Shruti mantra that the Absolute is one alone, and yet he becomes many as soon as he so desires. This is Krishna's Vaibhava Prakash, or his transcendental potency, and therefore he is known as Yogeshwara. So ordinarily, a yogi or a mystic living being is able to expand himself to utmost to 10-fold expansions. But here Krishna expanded into 16,108. So we have seen even in actually it will come in the third canto, Kardama Muni also expanded himself into 7 or 9, I don't remember exactly. 7, I think, so into 7 forms.
It's 9, Mataji.
9, okay,
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Into 9 forms for Devahuti. So the mystic yogis can expand himself, but here Krishna can do to the extent of as many as thousands or infinitely, as he likes. Thousands we have seen, 16,108 times he expanded, but infinitely how he expands? As the gopis, when he was dancing in rasa dance, Sharadiya Rasa Purnima, that is also coming up in October. Kartik month is coming. So Sharadiya Rasa Purnima is coming. So there, when Krishna danced, he expanded himself infinitely because there were infinite gopis, millions and millions of gopis that they came. And Krishna had this rasa dance with them. So he was expanding himself with every gopi. Unbelievers become astonished to learn that Lord Krishna married more than 16,000. But that is Krishna. He can measure the potency of the Lord by their own limited potency. One should know, therefore, that the Lord is never on the level of the living beings, but the expansions of his marginal potency, and one should never equalize the potent and the potency, although there is a very little difference of quality between the potent and the potency. So we should never compare. The conditioned living entity cannot be equal to the Lord at any cost. The queens were also expansions of his internal potency, his Hladini Shakti. And thus the potent and the potencies are perpetually exchanging the transcendental pleasure, which is known as pastimes of the Lord. Otherwise, there is no difference. Krishna Purna Shakti, Radha Purna Shakti, Krishna Purna Shaktiman, Dui Vastu Bhed Nahi, Shastra Praman. That there is no difference. So Krishna expanded himself, and all the queens of Dwarka are also the expansions of Srimati Radharani, the internal potency. One should not therefore become astonished to learn that the Lord married so many wives. It is not completely manifesting his unlimited, inexhaustible potency. He married only 16,000 wives and entered into each and every of the different palaces just to impress in the history of the human beings on the surface of the earth that the Lord is never equal or less than any human being, however powerful he may be. Okay, God is great. That is the eternal truth. Now here, therefore, as soon as the queens, now Prabhupada is paraphrasing his own translation. Therefore, as soon as the queens saw from the distance their husband, who was far away from home for long period due to the battle of Kurukshetra, they arose from their slumber of meditation and prepared to receive their most beloved. So they got up from their seat, they got up from the meditation. Now here Prabhupada is quoting, according to Yajnavalkya religious injunctions, a woman whose husband is away from home should not take part in any social functions, should not decorate her body, should not laugh, and should not go to any relative's house in any circumstances. So this was the vow that the queens of Dwarka were under. So Krishna Sharira Samskara Samjotsava Darshanam Hasya Paragrehe Yaha Trije Pranita Bhartaka. So this has been mentioned by Yajnavalkya that a wife whose husband is far away, okay, they are not allowed to do any kind of samskara. Okay, husband, they should not take part in any social functions. They should not decorate their body, right? Hasya, parhe, they should not laugh, and they should not go to paragrehe or any relative's house in all circumstances. This is the vow of the ladies whose husbands are far away from home. At the same time, it is also enjoined that a wife should never present herself before the husband in an unclean state. She must decorate herself with ornaments and good dress, so that she can make husband in a very happy and a joyous mood. The queens of Lord Krishna, they were all in meditation, thinking of the Lord's absence, and were always meditating upon him. Therefore, separation is much more beautiful than union. Because in union, you can once or twice can be in union, but in separation, every moment you are in union with Lord Shri Krishna. The Lord's devotees cannot live for a moment without meditating on the Lord. Then what to speak of the queens who were all goddesses of fortune, incarnated as the queens in the pastimes of the Lord at Dwarka. They can never be separated from the Lord, either by presence or by trance. The gopis at Vrindavan also could not forget the Lord when the Lord was away. When the Lord boy Krishna was absent from the village, the gopis at home used to worry about him, traversing the rough ground with their soft lotus feet. By thinking thus, they were sometimes overwhelmed in trance and mortified in the heart. Such is the condition of the pure associates of the Lord. So Prabhupada here is comparing the mood of the gopis, that how in the morning when Krishna would go out with his cowherd friends to herd the cows, all these gopis immediately will start feeling separation from the Lord. And they will worship, they will go to Surya Kund and they will worship Surya Dev. Can you set few minutes early today so that moon can rise and then we can see Krishna? And when in the evening Krishna would come back, they would wait to see Krishna's lotus face. And as soon as the sun sets, they will feel very, very delightful, very elated, because now it's their time with Krishna. And at the night time, these gopas will feel so much separation with Krishna that they will go to Chandrakund and they will pray to Chandradev, can you set early today so that sun can rise and we can meet our friend, our Lord Shri Krishna. That's the mood of all the Vrajavasis. Such is the condition of the pure devotees of the Lord. They are always in trance. And so the queens were also in trance during the absence of the Lord. But presently they have seen the Lord only from a distance, and at once they gave up all their engagements, including the vows of the woman that is being described above. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, there was a regular psychological reaction on the occasion. First of all, rising from their seats. Although they wanted to see their husband, they were deterred because of the feminine shyness. But due to strong ecstasy, they overcame that stage of weakness and became caught up with the idea of embracing the Lord. And this thought factually made them unconscious of their surrounding environment. So what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is mentioning, that first of all, they saw Krishna from a very far distance entering in that palace. As soon as they saw, they got up from their seats and now they want to see their husband, but they cannot see because of the shyness. They gave up the shyness also and they saw Krishna, and then they want to embrace Krishna. But with the thought of embracing Krishna, they became unconscious of their surrounding environment. This prime state of ecstasy annihilated all other formalities and social conventions, and thus they escaped from all stumbling blocks on the path of meeting the Lord. In the next verse, now Krishna, Sutta Goswami will be explaining that how these queens embraced the Lord. So they saw the Lord from the far distance, they got up from their seats, they got up from their meditation, and they got up from their vows also. And now they want to see Krishna face to face. But just with the thought of seeing Krishna's face to face, they were feeling very shy. And they overcome their shyness and they saw Krishna. And now, after seeing Krishna, they want to embrace Krishna. But with the thought of embracing Krishna, they fainted. So that's the ecstasy that's been depicted by Srila Prabhupada, and how Sutta Goswami is also very beautifully expressing the mood of the queens of Dwarka. Yes, we see two hands raised. Purna Prakash Gaura Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah, Araksha Mataji. Mataji, actually, Prabhupada explained even in first canto, third chapter. So different forms, actually, like, Prabhupada did not explain what are the actually different examples of each forms, like Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakasha, and Prabhava, Vaibhava, and all. But here also is explained a little bit on Vaibhava Prakash. So just I want to know that a little difference between the Krishna who was expanded 1608 forms, and then the same Krishna expanded in Rasa Leela with gopis.
It's same.
Either same, right?
They are same. Because it's Swayam Krishna who is expanding.
Okay. So is that Swayam Prakasha or Vaibhav Prakash?
It's Swayam Prakash, but this is the Vaibhav, or this is the opulence of the Supreme Lord.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
I hope I'm
yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
It's Swayam
So, I mean,
Prakash, and then Krishna expands into Vaibhav Prakash, which is his, which is Lord Balaram.
okay. The same form, only the little bit difference in the
So Krishna, first of all, expands himself as Krishna only. As Krishna himself, when he wants to exchange the reciprocation with the gopis and the queens of Dwarka. But to carry out this entire material existence, Krishna expands himself into Balaram, and then Balaram, who is the Sandhini Shakti, then he carries on with the Chaturvyuha, the 4 Vyuhas, and from there Sankarshan comes Narayan and all the Purusha avatars, Leela avatars.
Yeah, they are all different forms, right, Mataji? That's not Swayam Prakash. Okay.
Yes, that is different.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Next.
Krishna, when he expands himself as Swayam Krishna, that is only these 2 times. When he came, when he expands himself for the queens of Dwarka and for the gopis in Vrindavan.
Okay, Mataji, and one more question. When we say avatars, right, different avatars, what we have, what we have seen, like mainly the Dasha and then there are many. Those avatars actually comes from Narayana, right? Not like direct Krishna. I mean, it's the expansion of expansions.
Yeah, it's a kalas, that is ete chamsa kalapumsa.
Yeah.
So it's because, see, Krishna expands himself into Balaram, then Balaram expands himself into, what do you say, the Chaturvyuha. Then from Chaturvyuha, Sankarshan, Moola Sankarshan expands into Narayan. And then from Narayan comes another Chaturvyuha, that is Mahasankarshan, Mahanirod, Mahapradyumna, and Mahavasudev. And from Mahasankarshan comes the Karanodakshai Vishnu. From Karanodakshai Vishnu comes Garbhodakshai Vishnu, comes Shirodakshai Vishnu. That Shirodakshai Vishnu is the one who is expanding himself into all different avatars.
All different. So we again within material world only.
Yes.
Okay. But their abode is there still in Vaikuntha.
Yes, every form of the Supreme Lord, because it's the form of the Supreme Lord. So it cannot be imaginary form. So therefore, every form has a planet in Vaikuntha. Like Narsimha, Varhaloka, Matsya Loka.
So, yeah, they come from Kshirodakasaya Vishnu and they perform their duty and then they will go back to Vaikuntha with their abode.
Yes, with their abode, with their devotees. With the...
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Next.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Praladananda Prabhu.
Dhanapranam Mataji. Regarding this status of the queens in Dwarika, they are labeled as Proshit Bhartruka. Proshit Bhartruka means those women whose husband is away. And recently I heard an excellent erudite scholar lecture by Hari Prasad Das Prabhu. He gave lecture at Chowpatty, Bombay. And I urge everyone to hear that lecture. Such a excellent erudite scholarship about this, Prosit Bhartruka and other 7 other, statuses of women, he is giving this very. So I just wanted to share that. I have put in the chat what is Prosit Bhartruka, but I urge everyone to hear his lecture. It is on YouTube. If they put Hari Parsad Prabhu, and he will get that Chowpatty Mandir. Lecture he gave recently, 1 or 2 days back.
Actually, I heard only 15 minutes of his class, and then I got busy. But thank you for explaining that. He explained about this 8 heroines.
8 heroines, yes. I was really fascinated. Okay, thank you, Mata. I just wanted to share.
Thank you, Prabhu. And thank you for the beautiful verse by King Kulashekara, which is also very, very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Krishna Tadiya Pada Pankaja Panjataram. This is very, very dear verse to Srila Prabhupada also. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In this verse where it's explained that Krishna expands, like how a human being can expand in limited number.
Hmm.
So is this like the yogic potency?
Yeah, it's only yogic potency. Not every human being can expand.
And so is this the same as that how we see in Ramayana, and it's explained how some demon expands into so many to fight against, to cheat or be delusional to the opponent warrior. That one is the main real guy and the other are the fake forms. Is that the same as this expansion, or that's something else?
I think so. It should be the same because it's Maya potency only. All the demons, they are Mayavis, and they also have this potency because of the different meditation they perform. So it's the outcome of the yogic process only.
So those are like someone can touch them, like they can have that many gross forms, or it's just like
No, it's not the Mayavis, the true Mayavi Shakti, when they expand, it's not that their forms can be touched separately. I'm not sure 100%, but I'm simply guessing. It's totally my guess. Like we saw that how Ravan expands himself, how Indrajit used to expand himself just to delude the opponent party, right? So it's mere an expansion to cheat the opponent. But here what we see that how Kardama Muni expands himself. So yes, Devahuti was able to touch and feel the separate presence of Kardama Muni.
okay, so that's why it's limited. Then the Rakshasas they say that hundreds of forms and sometimes thousand like that, but that's fake and this is real expansion kind of thing, right? With the
I'm
Kardam.
not sure, Mataji, that how I can say that they are fake and this is real.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't want to comment on this because I have not come across this and I don't want to say anything from my own concoction.
Okay, Mataji.
This is what Prabhupada is related. Yeah.
Topic that like when Kardam Muni expanded to have
Hmm.
progeny, but in just his own one form also he could have multiple progeny, right?
Yeah, there Prabhupada mentioned that actually just to satisfy Devahuti. So Devahuti was not being satisfied with that one form of Kardama. Therefore, he expanded himself into 9 forms. And with the 9 forms, he begat 9 daughters to Devahuti. So Prabhupada mentions that why he has to expand himself.
Okay, thank you.
Because that urge for sex for Devahuti was not getting satisfied. Therefore, he expanded himself.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then we'll continue. We can do one more verse. So this is how now we have seen that chronological order that Krishna entered. These queens of Dwarka, they saw Krishna and they got up from their seat, they got up from their slumber, from their meditation, and from their vratas. They saw Krishna, but they were not able to see Krishna because of the shyness. Somehow they overcome that shyness. They saw Krishna and now they develop the desire to embrace Krishna. But they cannot embrace Krishna openly, right? Because they were sons, grandsons. They cannot embrace Krishna openly. So, how they embraced, that is being explained. तमात्मजे दृष्टिभिरन्तरात्मना दुरन्तभावा परिवेरे पतिं निरुद्धमपि आश्रवदम्बुनेत्रयोर्विलज्जतां तिनां भृगुवर्यवैकलवात्. Now somebody can read the translation.
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes.
The insuperable ecstasy was so strong that the queens who were shy first embraced the Lord in the innermost recesses of their hearts. Then they embraced him visually, and then they sent their sons to embrace him, which is equal to personal embracing. But O chief among the Vrigus, Though they try to restrain their feelings, they inadvertently shed tears.
Thank you, Prabhu. So we'll see the verse. Tam Atmajair. Atmajair means by the sons. Drishtibhir, by their eyes. By their eyes. Antaratmana, innermost chambers. So how they embraced Krishna? First through their innermost chambers of their heart, through their heart-to-heart embrace. And then just by looking at Krishna, they visioned the embrace. And then finally, they send their sons to go and hug Krishna. Duranta Bhava. Why? Because they were in that inseparable ecstasy with Krishna. And Paribhire Patim. So therefore, they want to embrace Krishna. Paribhire means they want to embrace Krishna. But how they embrace, they cannot go and openly embrace. So first they embrace through the innermost chamber, then through their drishti by seeing, and then they send their sons, Atmajay. Niruddham api ashra ambunetrayo. And as soon as with this thought of embracing Krishna, the tears flowed from their eyes. Vilajatam Bhrigu Varya Vaikalat. And they were very, very shyful. The tears that were flowing from their eyes, they don't want the tears to flow. They want to check those tears. But Vaiklavat means the last word it says, Vaiklavat means inadvertently, means suddenly, all of a sudden, without any having pre-intentions. Immediately the eyes were filled with the tears and the tears were flowing. Bhrigu Varya, he is referring to Shaunakadi Rishi. Shaunak Rishi, who was present there, who was the chief of all the 88,000 rishis that were gathered in Naimisharanya. So here it's referred to as Bhrigu Varya. So why he is referred to as Bhrigu Varya? So this little research, actually Priti Vilasni Mataji helped me with this. She did. So she was mentioning that according to Mahabharata, Bhrigu was the son of Lord Brahma, right? And Bhrigu's son was Chayavana Muni. This Chayavana Muni, his father was Ruru. And Ruru was the son Pramati. And Pramati was also, and this Ruru actually, who was the son of Pramati, because see, Brahma, then comes Bhrigu. After Bhrigu comes Chayavana Muni, and from Chayavana Muni comes Pramati, and from Pramati comes Ruru. So Ruru is actually the father of Shaunaka. Therefore, he is known as Shunaka. Ruru's another name is Shunuka, and from Shunuka comes Shaunaka, who was the son of Ruru. So this is how, because Shaunaka belonged to that Bhrigu dynasty, therefore, Suta Goswami is referring to him as Bhrigu Varya, as the chief or the best of the Bhrigus. The chief of the Bhrigus or the best of the Bhrigus. Okay. Somebody can read translation. We read it? No.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Ishwar Prabhu read. Yeah. Sorry, Satyam Prabhu read. Thank you. Okay, so purport Prabhupada is mentioning, although due to feminine shyness, there were many hindrances to embrace the dear husband, Lord Shri Krishna. The queens performed that act by seeing him, by putting him in the cores of their hearts, and by sending their sons to embrace him. Still, the act remained unfinished because they were physically not able to embrace Krishna. Therefore, the tears rolled down their cheeks despite all endeavors to check them. So inadvertently, Vaiklavat means all of a sudden, without any having pre-intentions, the tears flows from their eyes. One indirectly, now Prabhupada is mentioning why they send their children. One indirectly embraces the husband by sending the son to embrace him. Why? Because the son is developed as the part of mother's body. So the embrace of the son is not exactly the embrace of a husband and wife from the sexual point of view, but the embrace is satisfaction from the affectionate point of view. So this is the difference. So they send their sons to embrace, because the embrace of the son is, from the affectionate point of view, is equal as if the mother is embracing the husband. The embrace of the eyes is more effective in the conjugal relation. And thus, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, there is nothing wrong in such an exchange of feeling between husband and wife. So this is how they embraced. They embraced the Supreme Lord. Okay, so it's already 6:25. We can end, and we have left with, I think so, 4-5 more verses, and that we will cover on Thursday, and we'll finish the chapter. Okay, so from 33 onwards, Preeti Vilasni Mataji will cover, and we will finish the chapter. So, yeah, we can stop here and let her only, because it has a long purport, otherwise I would have finished. So let her only complete. Okay. So thank you all so much. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Let's see. Yes, Satyam Prabhu, you have any question?
No, Mataji.
Okay. Yes, Tulsi Gopi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I was just remembering sometimes this affection of a mother for the child, and it's explained how their breasts become filled with milk. I also heard real life mystical such stories, where, not stories, meaning one story where in our village, my mother was saying that there was one lady who became widow very young. Like her husband unfortunately died like several decades ago. He died as soon as she had got married. So those days, all her life, she would live alone. But unfortunately, there was one of her siblings, her sister, had died, and while giving birth to a child. So child became motherless, and this woman was widow. So people told that, oh, this newborn baby needs a mother's milk, because those days only cow milk they only gave after 3-6 months, like that. And they believed if a baby didn't get milk from a mother, then that child wouldn't survive long. So they asked her, can you try to feed him? And she was like, how can I give milk, because I didn't become conceive. So but still, some Vaidya Ayurvedic person told her that, no, if you have, this is your sister's child, and if you have motherly feeling, you should try to feed, and by the sucking action, maybe milk will come. And they tried this, and this literally, she was able to nurse the child. Like, her body became giving supply of milk to the newborn baby, and the baby also latched on as if like a real mother. And it became such a strong natural bond between the Masi and the baby. So, like, even real life examples today also we can see in unusual circumstances where this can happen. So, when if it is like someone has really mother and child relationship, we can totally have faith, like the faith in the scriptures becomes stronger, that yes, how much love must there be, that the subtle can give rise to gross. Like, if you subtle feel you have, then your body will react and give the milk like a mother. So that was amazing, I felt, to like share.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Mataji. See, in this material world also we see such miracles happen. And you're talking about this human, right? She was a human in human body. And as you were also quoting, I remembered that my Guru Maharaj, he had a farm for Florida in US. And the first cow he rescued was a dry cow. And it was a Brahmana cow, and it was a dry cow. And the cow was going to a slaughterhouse. And he rescued that cow, and that cow came to that farm. And so much love, so much nourishment was given to that cow that the cow became pregnant, and then she delivered a baby, and then she became a milking cow. So see how the emotions, even the animals, such things can happen. So yes, thank you, Tulsi Gopi Mataji, for sharing that. It's so beautiful, so wonderful. Jai.
Then Pranam Mataji, may I share some medical
Yes,
knowledge here?
yes, Prabhuji, we need that.
See, Mataji, the woman's body and the man's body, right? The basic difference of psychology is that the woman's body is controlled under hormonal system, right? And the man's body is mainly by central nervous system, right? So the pituitary in the brain, at the base of there is a pituitary gland.
Gland,
The
yes.
posterior portion, posterior pituitary, is the one which is the master gland which governs the sexual hormones, right? The procreative hormones like estrogen, progesterone, oxytocin. These are all related to childbirth and milk production and all these things. But there is one specific hormone known as prolactin. This prolactin is the hormone which is playing major role in production of milk from the breast gland, mammary glands of females, or in all animals also. But the basic principle is in the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is the part of the brain where emotions are the topmost kind of, what can I say, stimulus, which activates this posterior pituitary. All right. So, as mother was saying that, the Masi, the sister of the mother, she developed such an intense love for the baby of the sister that her prolactin started secreting. Now, this does not require that she has to have pregnancy and deliver. No. Male is controlled by the extreme emotions like that. So, all of mothers, when their sons or daughters are away, and if the letter comes, I used to see my own mother. As soon as the letter is there, she started crying. Because these lacrimal glands in the eyes, they become immediately, stimulated. Similarly, all other glands are known as exocrine glands. Exocrine means they secrete secretion, as against endocrine. Endocrine means they secrete into the blood. And these exocrine, they produce some other product like milk and other things, tears and others like that. So this is how the anatomy physiology works. and when she was explaining, all this went through my mind. So I said, okay, let me share that.
Wow, very nice, Prabhu. And as you were mentioning all these terms, I was remembering because I was also a biology student.
Okay.
And, but I forgot everything. So it got refreshed in my memory as you were telling all these terms, all these glands and everything.
I have treated so many mothers and so many babies I have delivered and all that. That's why this is in my head.
So with you, we got this bio knowledge also, and with you, we get all the scriptural knowledge also, because you are so good
Fascinating.
remembering the verses. Yes.
Thank you, Mata. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for your association. Thank you for sharing all this. Okay, dear devotees, so we can end up here. See you all on Thursday. Mataji will finish this entire 11th chapter, and then next Tuesday onwards, we can start the 12th chapter. Hope you all are done with your exams and all your open book. You can do it as we finish the entire first canto, so we still have time. But I hope you all are done with your shlokas also. If not, then please do it at your earliest. Okay, so thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu vaevacha patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Mataji ki jai.
Gaura Bhakta ki jai. Hare Krishna.